My name is Richard Midson. You are listening to the Public Relations Podcast. And you can always contact me on LinkedIn at Richard Midson, M-I-D-S-O-N. And this is Helen Barnett, a friend of mine who's a former national news editor at the Express newspaper in the UK. Hello, Helen. How are you doing?
Hello, yes, I'm very excited to be trying this out. I think it's going to be really fun.
We've been looking to see whether ChatGPT or AI, can actually turn news stories on its own into something that we would have accepted. Because I was a former radio news editor. Helen, as I say, is a former national newspaper editor. So can GPT come up with something that we would want to use? What are your thoughts going into this, Helen? And also just tell us a little bit about what you do as well, just so people got a bit of background on you too.
Yes, so as you mentioned, I was an editor on the Daily Express in the UK on their website, and I was a reporter before that. So lots of experience of getting loads of press releases in my inbox. Now I am a content strategist and writer, so I help businesses work out what to say where to connect with their ideal customers. And so I have been on both sides of this, writing press releases and receiving press releases. And it's going to be very interesting to see how chat takes our experience and tries to create something that we would read.
So what we're going to do then is we're going to first of all pick a story. And what we've done, Helen and I have agreed, we're going to go to PR Newswire. And we just picked out a story that we thought, well, there might be something in it. It wasn't just hard financial news, and it might have something there. And the headline reads, Omron Healthcare donates 4,000 blood pressure monitors and advances AFib screening with AI-based IntelliSense AFib technology. Helen, you understand that immediately, don't you?
If I just got that in my inbox, blood pressure monitors is kind of piquing my interest, but AFib screening, IntelliSense, I would be so turned off. I wouldn't have a clue what they're on about.
But still, the whole point of what we're trying to do here is to see whether you can use ChatGPT to actually make this better. My feeling is that a lot of companies will be saying right now, well, I can just use AI to write a press release for me. So what do we think they're likely to type?
They're very basic, turn this into a press release.
It's having a think about it. Certainly, here's a professional, concise and media-ready press release version of the information you provided. And it doesn't look like it's done anything really with that, does it?
It's changed the word continue to reaffirmed.
Oh, now there's our new news hook. So if you think you can get away with just literally typing a simple prompt, I think our dull expressions sum it up on that one.
They did get rid of a bit of the fluff that the original one did have on there. So it's kind of got to a angle quicker. Yeah. I don't think it's very interesting.
If this arrived on your news desk, would you have touched that story? I can tell you I wouldn't.
It feels like a nib in a local paper, nib is news and brief, so those tiny 2 or 3 paragraphs bits you get on the side of the paper.
One of the other big mistakes, I think, certainly from a radio point of view, simply starting a press release with the name of a company donates. I'm bored already. What I want to know is, why is this exciting? What angle have you got for me that is happening now, today, this year, whatever, that is happening about blood pressure? Then bring in the actual name of the company afterwards. Because you've got to hook me in when I'm getting all those press releases. Bring the company in later. Yeah?
Yeah. Let's see what it has when you say new and different. That's exciting.
Here's a sharper, more mainstream-ready version. New home monitors can flag signs of stroke risk, now given away worldwide. It's getting stronger.
I'm liking that. Yeah.
Yeah. We're starting to get an actual top line. Yes.
Hopefully they are new, and it's not just made that up. Something I do like to say with ChatGPT is, tell me when you've made assumptions. And that basically lets it fact check itself. I'm interested immediately because like I said before we even put this in, it's talking about how it affects you and saving lives. So the intro is, thousands of people around the world will soon be able to check for signs of dangerous heart rhythm disorder at home, thanks to a new wave of smart blood pressure monitors being donated. So it's actually immediately bringing mass appeal with the thousands of people around the world.
And it's much better structured as well, isn't it? Because it's kind of, I mean, okay, I'm still finding that first paragraph a bit boring, but the second paragraph, the devices don't just measure blood pressure. They use new AI technology to detect possible atrial fibrillation. I couldn't tell you what it is, but it sounds big and important. A common but often silent heart condition that can lead to a stroke. So you've got that sort of fear element in there. But AI technology immediately makes you think it's going to solve everything. Rather than go into detail, it's starting to just push my buttons as a journalist and make me go, okay, well, this is interesting. It's worth me reading more.
Yes. I personally would have put that AI technology in the intro because it's such the buzzword. Everybody is intrigued and skeptical, and there's all the emotions around AI right now.
How can we make this better? Because what I'm interested in is how far you can take this. Because, I mean, one of the things I will say to people is that if you want to know how to pitch something, look at the outlet. And it was quite interesting talking to students the other day, and they're kind of going, well, how do you write a perfect press release? And it's like, well, you don't just sit in a room and come up with what you think is going to be an exciting hook. You look at the outlet you're targeting, because your answers will often just be there. Read them, study them, look at what they say and their angles.
It would be interesting, actually, if you ask chat who has written about similar topics recently. Can you provide links and names? And then that would potentially help.
This topic recently. The Guardian there reported on machine learning algorithms.
And that's from December. And it's got health editor written the story.
Yep.
Saying thousands of strokes could be averted in the UK each year.
Which is that top line you just said.
So this could be of interest to a health editor at The Guardian, and you could pitch to him directly saying, I saw you wrote about this in December. Here's a different angle.
My concern with it, when I look at our story so far, or what GPT's come up with so far, is that it's very similar to what Andrew wrote about. It's still not strong enough to grab his attention as to, well, why should I write? What's new about this? If we just literally, and I hope The Guardian don't mind me doing this, but just copy a little bit of this and put it into GPT and say, how would I pitch this story to Andrew Gregory? I saw your excellent piece from a few months ago. I'm always unsure about these platitudes because I still get a huge number of them even in podcasting, where people go, I love your show. Then it just goes into what feels like a fairly generic pitch.
Yeah. Excellent piece is like, well, did you actually, how is it excellent? Yeah. I think you need to be a bit more specific. So it's the same with lead generation in running a business. You can't just go on LinkedIn and add loads of people and just say hi. Yeah. You need to say, oh, I've seen your post on this specific thing. I thought that maybe this is how you'd be interested in what I do. I make it really personal. So I saw your excellent piece from a few months ago. The fact that ChatGPT has written that, I mean, it says it all, doesn't it?
But I think that also raises another point, is that I think ChatGPT will be able to generate pitches to a certain level. But the problem is, we'll all start to recognize those patterns again, won't we? A journalist will start to go, oh, that's a GPT one. Or the other problem I feel is that GPT will get it to 70%. Which is great. Mm-hmm. A junior PR might achieve the same thing. But what's going to make a story stand out when every press release is 70% is that extra 30% on top.
And this is where the knowledge and the specific industry experience comes in, because as well, we're asking ChatGPT to make it new, make it interesting, make it relevant for these people. And we know what we're looking for because we're in the field, whereas somebody who's never done it before might just say, write me a press release, make it new and interesting. They're getting an output, but they're not necessarily sure if it's ticking the right boxes.
Yeah.
So I feel like they still need to look to an expert, maybe just for sense checking. They're halfway there. They just need a bit more of an input just to make sure what they're putting out there is decent.
I'm still looking at this kind of still going, it's fairly bland. You're drifting off, again, aren't you? Like I am.
I am. Yeah. I'm just okay, it's still donating things. Yeah. The donation is not exciting me.
I'm wondering where you go with the prompt from this to try and get it to come up with something. Unless we just literally get blunt. As an editor, I don't care about your company. I want to know what is new and different.
And how it affects my readers.
Yes.
See if it gets sassy back.
Apparently that mindset it's exactly what gets stories placed, apparently, and respected.
And respected.
The opening's a little bit better. It's kind of saying you wrote this, but it's not just pointless platitudes anymore, is it?
If Andrew maybe perhaps didn't know all the background, it's showing that it's got mass appeal. Again, though, like we said, this donation of monitors and the company is not the main focus of this article. This is, for me, if I was writing it, I'd put this 2/3 of the way down about the donation. For me, it would be all about the fact that there's new generation of home blood pressure monitors detecting AFib.
I mean, one of the things I like to say to people is to get yourself involved in the actual story. So, in other words, it's a bit like when you get people that are trying to do newsjacking and just add a generic comment on top of another story. And it's like, well, why do we care about what you say? Presumably, Online Healthcare have got access to data that they can then put in there. And then if they put a quote in there and say, our own research shows that 50% of people die because they haven't discovered it, you've immediately got a quote that is worth actually saying, because you want to put the credit as to, well, not the credit, but you want to source that, don't you? You want to say who said it. So then you start to bring yourself into that story. So maybe 50% of people, according to new data, shows that they have died because of strokes, according to Online Healthcare research or something.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
My conclusion from this whole process is that we've managed to get it stronger, but it's still lacking.
There's no human aspect, is what I would say. And the content we were given at the beginning had no human aspect either. So I appreciate ChatGPT not making up a case study. However, if we were in the real world, a case study would be really good here.
I mean, let me just ask it if, assume we are a PR and our job is to promote OmROM. How would you ensure the pitch is newsworthy but ties in the company so that it is mentioned? This is where the real craft of PR kicks in.
I love it when it's always backing you. It's always backing you. Great question, Richard. I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, but the problem with that, though, is that if you put in there, I want to put the name of my company first, it would probably come back and say that's a great idea so that you promote your company, isn't it? That's the problem.
That's
it
true.
Reinforces bad things.
How can I make this better for a busy journalist on a national newspaper?
Yes.
So it's basically given us a few tips of how to be better. So national newspaper journalists like those at The Guardian get flooded with pitches. They're skimming for two things. Number one, is this a story? Something new, surprising. Number two, can I write this quickly? Clear angle, clean. Parallel breakthrough. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Because you recently covered the NHS's use of algorithms, so like referencing the old story. There's now a parallel breakthrough. This is just like fluff.
So far, if we are thinking that we can use GPT and add one prompt to our information and it'll come up with a great story, it'll come up with something, but it lacks format. It can be a bit deceptive, and it doesn't have the emotional understanding of what a journalist needs. This has been really interesting going through this exercise. Thank you so much for going through it with me. I really appreciate this because it's really interesting to put our experience next to GPT and say, well, some bits definitely do work, but some bits definitely don't.
Yeah. I think this has been really fun and really interesting because obviously we have the expertise of what makes a good press release. So we can just kind of mark ChatGPT's homework.
Yes. So if people want some help from a real expert, Helen, how would they contact you?
So I'm on LinkedIn if you just search Helen Barnett, or you can look at my website, which is helenbarnettmedia.co.uk.
And of course, I will be putting all those links in the podcast episode and on LinkedIn as well. And of course, you can always reach out to me, Richard Midson, as well, if you have any questions about the show or about this episode, or indeed if you've been trying to use GPT and you've been finding a more successful way of getting it to come up with press releases. Do you think it's perfect? Do you think it's rubbish? What do you think? Do let me know. I would be absolutely fascinated to hear. For the time being, I hope you found that useful and insightful. And of course, I'll speak to you again very soon.